Yes. It's steel.
But you can't be any geek off the street. Gotta be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean.
Keeping it real.
Hello, and
welcome back
to the channel. My name is Steven, and this is Steel, Keeping It Real. So today I'm going to do a movie review because I just recently watched the movie Just Mercy, and it brought up a lot of emotions watching that movie. So I want to do a review of it and give you my thoughts and opinions on how it made me feel when it was over. So,
And here we go.
now, the movie I watched is Just Mercy, and it stars Jamie Foxx, Michael B. Jordan, and Brie Larson. Now, the story, even though the movie is new, 2019-2020, the story is old as why the movie makes reference to Kill a Mockingbird, because where this movie takes place is supposed to be in the same town that Harper Lee created To Kill a Mockingbird. So there's that always in the background, and then it has remnants of A Time to Kill. So there's a lot of things that had already been done in this movie. Now, the sentiment of what was going on was that, you know, especially down in the South, they are extremely bigoted, and they, especially back in the day, this movie starts off in 1987, year I graduated from high school. And one thing that, you know, whether you be in California, whether you be in New York, whether you be in Texas, Florida, or Alabama where this takes place, you hear these stories, and it's almost like in our DNA that, you know, when we see something like this happen, we know that it's terrible, but we're not surprised, because we hear stories like this all the time. It's being told to us from generation to generation to generation as a cautionary tale of sometimes, especially what not to do, but it doesn't matter. As a black male growing up in the 80s, you know, I had a life expectancy of, I think it was to be 25 at the most, and here I am at 52. So I kind of beat the system, but I beat the system only by staying out of the streets. I mean, I had my wild years, wild decades, but for the most part, I stayed low-key away from law enforcement. So, getting back to the story. So, of course, it is Michael B. Jordan coming down from, where did he say, Delaware, went to Harvard, and he wants to dedicate his life to, for the justice of people in the South that are wrongly accused. Now, this is based on a true story. But it still sounds like a story that's already been told, but it is based on the true story. The guy who Michael B. Jordan plays as the lawyer is still doing it. The guy that Jamie Foxx played was there. The guy that, I forgot, O'Shea Jackson Jr. is in it. You might know him as Ice Cube's son. He's in it as well. And that guy was recently from the project that Michael B. Jordan has, was recently released from prison. I think they said 2015. So all these things are going on. You see, of course, you see people that don't feel like they deserve the death penalty get the death penalty. Now, this is a very anti-death penalty movie. So I'll let you know this straight off the bat. It's an anti-death row movie. So if you are a firm justice of death row, you might like the first half of this movie. But but you're not going to like the second half of the movie. And kind of, if you like the first half of the movie, but you see what's going on, I might have to think about where you stand as far as, not as far as, you know, death penalty, how you stand for justice. Because they said in the movie, for every 9 people that are committed to death row or executed, no, committed to death row, at least 1 is not guilty. So even then, that's not good odds to just keep murdering people. And the sentiment, you know, there's a reason why I never wanted to go to the South, because I don't want to have to deal with that. You know, I deal with certain prejudices already being in the North, but I definitely don't want to do that, you know, homegrown, Southern fried, you know, bigotedness and racism that they have down there. You know, if you live down there, you probably know what I'm talking about, and you're just used to it, which it seems like, you know, certain characters in this movie, they just been beaten so much by the system that they don't care anymore. They really don't care, and that's a sad story to hear. But I've seen it in a lot of people. So, so it centers around Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is somebody who was convicted of something, of a murder he did not commit, had a bad lawyer, you know, and Michael B. Jordan, fresh out of Harvard, got a serious grant to open up this Southern Justice Center for helping people out, and you know, finds that, you know, there's plenty of evidence to say that Jamie Foxx is innocent. But being in the South, you know, there's a lot of intimidation going on, like, you shouldn't reopen this case, you know, there's a bomb underneath your house, you better leave. Scare tactics that are used, and in a way, it's like, what are you afraid of? Don't people want justice? Don't they want justice? Or did you just want to put somebody away and go like, okay, well, not realizing that you still, if this guy is innocent, someone amongst your community is a killer. And you might be having breakfast with him at the diner, or he might be changing your car, or changing the tire on your car. He could be guilty. So, movies like this have been becoming pretty popular. They research certain resentment and anger that comes from seeing, you know, this type, because like I said, we all know good and well this stuff happens. We're just not surprised. So when you see the movie like When They See Us, you know, and that whole injustice that was going along, you know, you're watching it going like, come on, man, doesn't somebody see this? Really? Come on, man. And that's the way Michael B. Jordan feels in this movie. It's like, how can you deny the facts? You just want to hold up your reputation as being a district attorney or a prosecutor just so you can save face, but you're not seeking out justice. You're just not. The sheriff and everybody else is involved. They have this whole tactic of, we're gonna put you in your place. We don't care if you got a suit on and you came from Harvard. You're still black down here. Now, that sentiment is in the back always of this movie. You know that, you know, every single person except Brie Larson that is not of color is thinking this way. You know, they're thinking this way. You know good and well, because it's Alabama. They've said that the N-word, you know, a good couple of times. I can't figure out the words there. A lot. I'll just say a lot. They said the N-word. However, in this movie, the N-word is only said once. So we definitely know it's not a Quentin Tarantino movie. So, you know, it all ends in a happy ending, but it takes so long. you have people locked up in jail for like 30 years, and then you find out that, you know, they're innocent, and it's like, oops, our bad. You know, some of them get settlements, some of them do not. It's just, you know, they have this certain thing about cops where you can't, you know, prosecute a police officer or a district attorney for wrongdoing or something like that. But, you know, you have plenty of people trying to sue a police officer or district attorney. Now it's becoming more and more prevalent because of the Black Lives Matter movement, where police are being put in check. And it's, I don't know how you stand on this, but you know what? Justice is justice. You can't bend the law just so you can win. You can't bend the law. And it's made me go back, and there's a lot of shows that I've watched, and I loved that. I realized I've been rooting for the bad guys all this time. When I watch a Law and Order, whether it be Criminal Intent or especially Special Victims Unit, and the original Law and Order, you know good and well, you see it all the time where the ends justifies the means that they do. It's Stabler, of course, at SVU. He's just knocking people around and what's the word? I can't think of the word. But he's just wrong. He's not a corrupt cop. He's just a bad cop. He's not a racist or anything like that. He just feels that he can bully people around, push them around, impugn his will. I think that was what I was thinking about. And I was like, you know, with what is going on, this is not new. This has been going on. Yet it seems like when you put that many police officer shows on TV, you're making everybody say, like, yes, the police are fine. But to people in the black community, the police are not fine. They know there's intimidation. They know they can get beat. They know they can get pulled over for driving while black. We all know these things. And here I am watching these shows, you know, like I'm eating popcorn, like, this is pretty good, not realizing that, you know, I'm being programmed to, or indoctrinated into thinking the police officers are okay. And then you got people out there going like, well, if you haven't done anything wrong, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. Come on, man. You've seen plenty enough recently to know that isn't true. And even though it's recent, just realize that this has been going on before the Civil War ended, and definitely after the Civil War ended, up until today. It hasn't stopped. You still got pockets in the South that still, you know, still do this to people. So, I will say the acting was okay. The acting was okay. Michael B. Jordan played it well, although I think Michael B. Jordan is hot right now. So, of course, you put him out there, people are going to see it. But I think a more a dramatic actor, not somebody who does action, a more dramatic actor might have done that better. Now, Jamie Foxx doing it, being the guy, it was okay as well. You can't, I don't think lightning's going to strike twice when people say Jamie Foxx is actually a good actor. He was good in Ray, and he looked like he had the same hairdo that he had in Muhammad Ali, or Ali with Will Smith. But there really wasn't a lot of range for any of these characters. And you want to know who had the least amount of range? Brie Larson. Brie Larson was basically, I'm here, I got a script, I'm going to read my words. Maybe I'll try a little accent because it's supposed to take place in Alabama. But, I should say that like Forrest Gump. Alabama! But, you know, her acting was stiff. You didn't really feel the caring. You just heard the words come out. but she didn't protrude, you know, real caring. So I wanted to comment on that. Now, like I said, there are plenty of moments in the movie that you just want to shake your head, and you get a little bit of anxiety because you kind of know, you know, it's like it's like any kind of play or story. You have the setup. The middle part is always the dirtiest part, or the most frightening, or where the most stuff really actually happens. The good, the bad, you know, tussle, and then there's the lead up to the happy ending, which this movie follows that formula to a T. So, but the only part I really felt emotion was at the very end, where you're seeing people being released and people being able to touch their families again. That was a very emotional part of the movie. And then they end it with showing pictures of the real people who these actors are portraying and telling their life stories of what happened after this. So, if I were to give this movie on a scale of 1 to 10, a 6. And I know, I hope this doesn't anger anybody. This is just my opinion. You know, you might have a totally separate opinion. And if you do, I don't mind if you leave a comment down below. So, thank you for listening to my review. Again, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Peace.